تكشف نفسك للجمهور.
My name is Justin Augustyn, and we're here at the Earthmoving Legacy Center on a mighty fine day here in Elkader, Iowa.
ما الذي ألهم فكرة إنشاء هذا المركز؟
Well, we found through our businesses that we have located here in Elkader, C.J. Moynihan & Sons that specializes in heavy civil work, and Mobile Track Solutions that manufactures construction equipment, that so many of our friends, colleagues, customers, vendors, they all have stories of their father, their grandfather, uncles, whatever these relatives are about earth moving equipment and projects that have come before them. And everyone really opens up a whole new level when they start talking about those memories. So they're so core to everything. And John, the principal owner here at the Earthmoving Legacy Center and C.J. Moynihan & Sons and Mobile Track, started collecting old Caterpillar tractors about 25 years ago. And it started really innocently, all right? His wife Doris said, well, what's up here? And maybe one a year. And that slowly started ramping up to be maybe 5 a year, 10 a year, 15 a year. And he was collecting these different pieces and started to really become infatuated with the rare tractors, all right? And it, more than anything else, it's the search, the quest to find these rare tractors across not only the United States, but the world, all right? And we have some really cool stories here. You'll get a chance to see them throughout the episode themselves. But overall, the goal is to erect the lineage of Caterpillar's tractors and the evolution from the beginning of their history to what is about 1940.
كيف يعكس المركز تطور هذه المعدات وتأثيرها على الصناعة الحديثة؟
Man, that's a loaded question, all right? I can tell you it all starts when you walked through the 2 front doors here, and there's a pick, a shovel, and a wheelbarrow, all right? And that's just kind of the beginning of the earth moving industry as a whole, all right? And it follows through to about the 1940 time frame. And all the way through, it takes you from what is gasoline power to diesel power and all the refinements on undercarriages. And it's just cool to see from one year to another year to another year how the small changes all add up to ultimately create the machines that Caterpillar has today.
ما هي أندر القطع المعروضة تميزاً وما قصتها؟
That's such a hard question to answer because there's so many unique and hard to find pieces right here in Elkader at the Earthmoving Legacy Center. But a couple of my favorite is the Holst 75, which is considered a late model manufactured in California. In the story to actually finding this machine, it was actually found in England. And I was fortunate enough to go visit Robert Wilson twice in my life before he passed away. But Robert actually procured the machine, shipped it to England, did a restoration on the machine. It's actually painted in World War I colors because that's what it was originally meant for. And the exact number is somewhat rough, but I think somewhere along the line of 22 were built. And it was purchased in England. We used our master mechanic, Corey Kane, to go over to England, get it all ready to ship, and then we used our shipping company, our trucking company, to go ahead and bring it back from Baltimore and port, and you can see it right over here in the corner. Another piece that's very unique is the Diesel 65. No visit to the Elkader Legacy Center would be complete without seeing the Diesel 65. And it's for a couple reasons, all right? It's so paramount to Caterpillar's history, all right? And they put a lot of money into diesel power, and they did it earlier than any other manufacturer did in mobile equipment. So they introduced the Diesel 65 late 1931, the beginning of 1932, which is also right in the middle of the Great Depression, all right? So times were tough here in America at that point in time, but they stuck with it because they actually had some challenges getting it released, people knowing how to fuel and what correct diesel fuel to use, and more importantly, what diesel fuel not to use in the tractor. But they stuck with it, and 7 short years later, they were actually the #1 manufacturer of diesel engines worldwide.
كيف تسلط معارضكم الضوء على تطور شركة كاتربيلر؟
The best way to answer that question, you guys have to go upstairs. Upstairs we have several different power units, diesel engines, gas engines. Some are the early Holst gas engines, and you can see where it got its life and its start. In the rudimentary parts of the engine, you can see the valve springs on the top end of the valve train, all right? And then we actually got, we're fortunate enough, we got an engine from Caterpillar that was shown at the 2014 Con Expo, which I believe is a C13 Cat engine. So when you look at these engines side by side, you can see what 100 years of evolution does, going from not just gasoline to diesel, but all those small details and wiring harness and ECMs compared to one simple wire and valve springs and everything else. So it's quite a spectrum of difference when you look at them in person.
هل يستطيع الزوار التفاعل مع المعدات عبر تجارب تطبيقية؟
As time goes on, we're always working to change things, make improvements. Right now, the biggest interaction is a D6 Caterpillar cab, also located upstairs. And visitors can jump in the seat, experience exactly what it feels like to be an operator with the controls, not only for the blade, but also the dozer controls, and sit in the seat, adjust the seat. And as time marches on, we like to think we can be adding some more, all right? But considering we've been open just since 2021, all right, we've got 4 years of evolution, and we'll keep adding more on as time progresses.
كيف يساهم المركز في تثقيف الأجيال الجديدة حول تاريخ هذه المعدات؟
Such a great question. All right, there's a couple different things that we do, all right? And the newest and the most exciting piece is about 1 year old, and we've started Earthworks training. And on a monthly basis, we have a class of anywhere from 15 to 20 folks that are in the industry, all right? They're foremen, superintendents, project managers, civil engineers. And they're coming from many parts of the United States so far, and we spend 2 days with them talking everything from geotechnics to equipment management, along with measuring productivity. And the overall goal is to make these earth movers better at what they do each and every day. And likewise, it continues to grow and improve little bit by little bit. But the most important thing at the end of the day isn't necessarily education-based, but it's planting that seed of excitement in the construction industry. And that works whether it's a 3-year-old boy or girl or a 50-year-old gentleman that enjoys it and just wants to learn more. So that's the most important thing, is the future generations and attracting future generations to what this industry has done for us here in Elkader, Iowa, and our businesses.
كيف تتعاونون مع الهواة والخبراء لإثراء المعرض بقطع نادرة؟
That's such a good question. We have a lot of relationships with people that find the same passion as us for all the equipment here. And many relationships involve having people's equipment on loan. We typically do a 3-year rotation. So instead of these people that have worked so hard to restore their equipment and it sits in a barn or a shed, we'll haul the piece of equipment from their barn or shed, we'll bring it to Elkader, we'll get it cleaned up, and it'll be on display for the general public. They can come, absorb it, see it, and if you think about it, these people have taken all the painstaking time to restore the equipment. What better avenue is there than to put it on display and share it with other people that enjoy the same thing? So when you look at the collection here, I'm gonna say roughly 70% is owned by the Earthmoving Legacy Center and John, and 30% of the pieces are owned by other individuals. We have some pieces, just like this one right here behind me, It says J.T. Stevenson. That actually belongs to Josh Stevenson. Josh is out of Temecula, California. That machine has been to Temecula, Indiana, and of course brought back here to Elkader. And there's other collectors out of New Jersey, along with Omaha and other places. So it's just a central hub to bring these tractors and help complete this story as a whole.
ما الذي يجعل زيارة المركز تجربة فريدة من نوعها؟
There's a lot of great places to go out and check, and I suggest all of them, all right? If there's one thing that separates us is having the true lineage of Caterpillar's evolution, not only from 1925 going forward, but pre-1925, which includes the companies of Holst and Best, all right? And you can start right here on my left, your guys' right, and start and just make the full circle, and you can walk through what the Best lineage is, the Holst lineage is. It turns into 1925 becoming Caterpillar, and you can just do a general walk, and everything is arranged in this chronological order. And it kind of makes it easier to understand how the company has evolved over the last 100 years as a whole.
ما أكبر التحديات في حفظ وعرض المعدات التاريخية؟
Great question. One of the biggest challenges we face is simply the age of some of the historic machines here and the relics that we have. And some of that goes back to the early 1900s, all throughout the 1920s, 30s, and up into the 1940s. And some of those units, they don't make parts anymore for any of this stuff. So being able to find existing machines that we can duplicate parts from or remanufacturing parts simply takes a lot of time and effort to do. It's definitely worth it when we get done with it, but locating those and remanufacturing those parts is probably the biggest challenge we face on restoring the machines.
هل هناك خطط مستقبلية لتوسيع المركز أو لإطلاق معارض جديدة؟
Yeah, we have a lot of exciting stuff going on actually. That includes a number of new restoration projects from different tractors, different sizes, different time periods, for specialty equipment and from their largest stuff that they made at the time, to then a large scraper project that we're working on right now. That's a very rare piece, actually one of, I believe, 195 made at the time. And so restoring those pieces and getting those back to even better than new condition in some points is a real kind of point of pride for us to be adding to the collection. In fact, we're going to be demoing some of those pieces coming up here in September. And Justin, how would you describe kind of the magnitude of that event that's going to be going on?
This show is going to be one of a kind show. Right? It's celebrating 100 years of Caterpillar since it's 2025. And it's a show not to miss, but it's September 12th, 13th, and 14th. Here in 2025, and we're expecting thousands of people to come so they can actually witness the iron that's behind us in the dirt. And like Ross is talking about, some of these pieces we're working on this year are being done specifically so that they're ready for the show and will be unveiled at the show, and there's a lot of excitement on YouTube and other social media places of the equipment.
And just in addition to that too, how we're expanding the organization or the Earthmoving Legacy Center too from an educational standpoint. There's a lot of different internal and external training that occurs in different forms, whether it be in earthworks management or in leadership, sales, some different areas. So bringing in those groups, whether it be everything from high school groups to universities and colleges to then actual corporations such as Caterpillar, for example, to come here and further their education and enlightenment for their company and what they make. And so that's a really big part of the expansion of the facility.
Thank you so much, Horus TV, for joining us today.
Thank you, Horus TV.